The world dissolved around me. Static filled my vision. It was as if reality itself was being rewritten, pixel by pixel, line by line. The familiar hum of the static was both disorienting and oddly comforting, a reminder of the old analog days. When it cleared, I saw a familiar sight, but different. The skyline was recognizable yet twisted, as if viewed through a funhouse mirror. The once bustling streets were now eerily silent, devoid of life. The M on the mountain, Missoula, my home. But it felt like a ghost of its former self, a shadow lingering in the aftermath of some great catastrophe. But this wasn't the Missoula I knew. Buildings lay in ruins. The structures that once stood tall and proud were now reduced to rubble, their skeletal remains jutting out like broken teeth. Rust covered everything. This was Fallout, Montana. The air was thick with the scent of decay and rust, a metallic tang that clung to the back of my throat. I wasn't alone. Captain N, my oldest friend, stood beside me. His presence was a small comfort in this desolate landscape. His face reflected the same shock and confusion I felt. We were both trying to make sense of this new reality, our minds racing with questions. We were digital beings, pulled into this desolate world. Why? The lines between the digital and physical had blurred, leaving us stranded in this hybrid nightmare. We had no answers, only questions, each one more pressing than the last, gnawing at the edges of our sanity. A voice boomed through the silence. "Welcome to Fallout, Montana." It echoed off the ruins, filling the empty spaces with its ominous tone. It was John Cena, larger than life, standing on top of a nearby building. His silhouette was unmistakable, a beacon in the desolation. His presence was both reassuring and intimidating. He exuded a sense of purpose, a calm amidst the chaos. He knew why we were here. He had a mission for us, a mission that would unravel the mysteries of this new world and perhaps offer a way out. 900, Captain N, John Cena's voice echoed across the ruined cityscape. "You're needed in Gardner. A new settlement is rising there, but they need help." His words were a call to action, a challenge we couldn't ignore. We made our way through the skeletal remains of buildings, the silence broken only by the crunch of rubble under our feet. A sense of urgency filled me. Gardner needed us. But what awaited us there? As we walked, a familiar jingle filled the air, a stark contrast to the desolation surrounding us. The jingle faded, leaving behind an eerie silence. We pressed onward, the weight of John Cena's words heavy on our minds. The journey to Gardner was fraught with danger. Feral ghouls lurked in the shadows of abandoned buildings. Radroaches, mutated and grotesque, scuttled across our path. But we pressed on, our resolve fueled by the hope we carried for Gardner. The landscape changed as we traveled west. Rolling hills replaced the ruins of Missoula. The air, though still heavy with the scent of decay, felt cleaner, fresher, a glimmer of hope in this desolate world. As we walked, the sound of a harmonica playing a mournful tune drifted through the air. It was a melody that spoke of loss and hardship, but also of resilience and hope. The music of Fallout, Montana. Gardner was a beacon of hope in the wasteland. A small community had taken root here, determined to rebuild, but their struggle was evident. Makeshift shelters lined the dusty streets. The people, though hardened by their experiences, bore the weight of survival on their faces. We were greeted by a man named Ricochet, a former wrestler turned protector of this fledgling community. His eyes, though filled with warmth, held a deep sadness. He spoke of a new threat, one that endangered their very existence. The commercial ended, and Ricochet continued his story. His words painted a picture of a new danger, one that threatened to extinguish the flickering flame of hope in Gardner. "Gulpers!" Ricochet said, his voice heavy with concern. "Creatures of fire and shadow, drawn to the geothermal activity near here." He explained how these creatures, resembling giant mutated salamanders, were terrorizing the community, their fiery breath capable of incinerating anything in their path. He pleaded for our help. "We need a sanctuary," he said, "a place safe from the Gulpers. where we can rebuild our lives." His words resonated with us. We had come to Fallout, Montana to make a difference, and this was our chance. We looked around at the faces of the settlers, etched with fear and desperation. Their hope rested on us. We wouldn't let them down. Section 6. Building Hope. The task ahead was daunting. We needed to create a sanctuary, a place impervious to the Gulpers' fiery attacks. But we had faced challenges before. We were 900 in Captain N, and we were determined to succeed. We rallied the settlers, their spirits lifted by our confidence. Together we scavenged materials from the ruins of the old world. Metal sheets, concrete blocks, anything that could withstand the Gulpers' flames. As we worked, the mournful tunes of the wasteland were replaced by a new sound. The clang of hammers, the scrape of shovels, the sounds of construction, of hope taking shape. Section 7. Sanctuary. Days turned into weeks as we toiled tirelessly. The sanctuary began to take shape. High walls, reinforced with salvaged metal, rose from the ground. A network of tunnels designed to provide escape routes in case of a breach snaked beneath the surface. The settlers, inspired by our dedication, worked with renewed vigor. Their fear began to give way to determination, their despair replaced by a glimmer of hope. Together we were building more than just a sanctuary, we were building a future. The commercial ended, and a cheer erupted from the settlers. The sanctuary, their beacon of hope, was complete. Section 8. A Glimmer of Hope. The day the Gulpers attacked, we were ready. Our preparations had been meticulous, every detail accounted for. The settlers had trained tirelessly, their resolve steeled by the knowledge that their survival depended on it. The creatures, drawn by the scent of their prey, descended upon the sanctuary with fiery fury. Their roars echoed through the valley, a terrifying symphony of destruction. But we stood our ground, unwavering. But our defenses held strong. The walls, built with sweat and determination, stood as a testament to our will to survive. Each stone, each barricade, was a symbol of our collective strength. The walls, reinforced with our hopes and dreams, withstood their fiery breath. The Gulpers' relentless assault was met with an unyielding resistance, a barrier they could not breach. The settlers, safe within the sanctuary, watched as we repelled the attack. Their eyes, once filled with fear, now gleamed with a spark of hope. They saw in us the embodiment of their dreams for a safer future. Their faces, once etched with fear, now shone with a newfound courage. They had witnessed the power of unity and the strength that comes from standing together against a common enemy. They had faced their demons and emerged victorious. The battle had tested their limits, but it had also revealed their true potential. They were no longer just survivors, they were warriors. As the last Gulper disappeared into the twilight, a sense of accomplishment washed over us. The setting sun cast a golden hue over the battlefield, a serene contrast to the chaos that had unfolded. We had made a difference in Fallout, Montana. Our victory was not just a triumph over the Gulpers, but a beacon of hope for all who had doubted their ability to overcome adversity. We had brought hope to a community teetering on the brink of despair. In the aftermath of the battle, we stood together, united by our shared experience and strengthened by our collective resolve. The future, once uncertain, now held a glimmer of hope.